up, everybody? My name is Amy, and this is the Ruby Pearl Glamper True Crime Podcast. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Ruby Pearl Glamper True Crime Podcast. My name is Amy. Welcome to my show. I hope everyone is having a wonderful Saturday afternoon. It's rather quiet here in the backwoods of Arkansas. Little bit chilly. We had some rain that brought in a little bit cooler weather, so it's a little chilly, and I've just been hanging out, not doing much of anything. I had to go Friday to the Blood and Cancer Institute and get an iron infusion again because my iron level had dropped back down really low again, and it's been about 4 months since I had the last infusion, and it held up very well. Come to find out, I got to talking to a friend of mine here on YouTube, and her daughter has to get the same kind of infusions, and she gets them every 4 months. And I said, well, this makes sense. It's been 4 months since I've had my first infusion, so I guess, this is how it's going to be. Probably I'm going to have to go in every 4 months and do this, I guess. But hi, Justice Jane. How are you? It's good to see you. Welcome. I have, of course, been away for quite some time. Some of you know about it, that I decided to take a step back from YouTube, just with all the craziness and drama around here, and, just trying to, run an honest channel and give honest facts and just discuss these cases. I don't require a membership here on my channel. I don't, I'm not monetized. I don't make a dime off any of this. I never have. And I've been involved in true crime advocacy for 30 years, but everything has just gotten so crazy here in the world of true crime on YouTube. And I'm actually going to get to that later. I'm going to be talking about that because something happened to me Friday where the world of YouTube sort of infiltrated my life. And I didn't like it very much. But I'm going to get around to talking about that later on in the show. There's a lot of things to catch up on, and I just wanted to talk about, just some random cases that I've covered here on my channel and that are, currently going on in the world of true crime. You've got the Idaho 4 and Bryan Kohberger. It is, been a year now since those 4 kids were brutally murdered in their home. on their college campus at 1122 King Road. And, it's just been a horrible, horrible ordeal for those parents and families and for that town. Bryan Kohberger, his defense has, raised different questions, and they're trying to get stuff thrown out and keep cameras out of the courtroom and this and that and the other. And one of the things that has been decided that's going on, uh, yes, absolutely, Justice Jane. People are just nutcases. And, if you're really trying hard to do a good job here on YouTube and call yourself a journalist or a true crime podcaster or investigator or have a show, there is a level of privacy. There is a level of respect. I went to college for journalism and criminal justice. So I was taught the proper way to be a journalist. But unfortunately, these days, you don't need an education to call yourself a journalist or a paparazzi or work for TMZ. And that's what the world of journalism has become. And it's just the First Amendment has got blown way out of proportion. And I just think that people deserve respect and a right to privacy. And, journalists, they have certain rules that they have to go by. And like I said, I'll get into that. I'll get into that later in talking about that. But one of the things going on, and hi, Phyllis Davis, how are you? I'm glad to have you here with me this afternoon. One of the things is, regarding tearing the house down at 112 King Road. The owner of the house gifted the house to the college, and giving the college the rights to do whatever they choose to do with it, in which they wanted to tear it down and possibly build some type of a little, maybe a memorial park for for Maddie, Kaylee, Ethan, and Xana, a memorial, like little park or something to, like, meet with your friends, sit and read a book, something very nice. And but now, with this trial, and this is a death penalty trial and whatnot, they have decided to hold off on tearing the house down because they may possibly need that house once the case goes to trial. And the prosecution may request it, the defense may request it, for the jury to be able to go to the murder scene, to the house. If you followed the OJ case, you know that the jurors on the OJ Simpson case visited his home at Rockingham, which was not the actual crime scene where Nicole and Ron were murdered, but that's where all this evidence was found against OJ, was on his own property. But anyway, and there was some pretty shady stuff that went on with that. But they do have juries. They do take juries to crime scenes now. They did it with the school shooting not long ago, where my mind's blank. The Parkland shooter. They took that jury to this. They left that school just as it was, and as horrible as it is to see something of that memory that holds bad memories still standing like that. I know it's hard, but from what I understand, the Gonzalez family and Zanacronodal's family and the rest of the families are okay and fine with keeping the house standing. Uh, so that if they do decide to take the jury to the house and whatnot, they're perfectly fine with it, because they don't want anything that Bryan could get an appeal on. They certainly don't want that, and him getting out on some type of an appeal overturn, for something that shouldn't have been done. But I'm fine with it. But once the trial is done and over with and everything, yeah, I think they should tear it down. And build something, a memorial park dedicated to Kaylee and Maddie and Ethan and Xana, and make just a nice little, meeting place for friends to sit and visit and, drink a cappuccino or read a book or whatever. I think that would be really nice to do for them. So, I would like to see that done, but I have to agree with everyone else in saying that, no, by no means, don't tear that house down until this trial is over with and he is convicted. And, even if you have to keep it up through, let's say he's, tried and convicted, even if you have to keep it up through his first appeal, and once his first appeal is denied, then tear it down. I don't see any reason why they shouldn't. So, that's just how I feel about it. I wouldn't want my child, say my granddaughter sometime in the future, end up at that college and her have to see that and go, yeah, I remember my grandma, my Mimi, as I'm referred to, covering this case when I was just a kid. She's 11 now, and you know, that would just be awkward and weird. And, I would never want my grandchild to have to see something so dark and terrible. I get sad when I see things in my hometown torn down that hold a wonderful memory for me, and it's just like losing a piece of you. But to tear down something where something so horrific like that happened, I wouldn't have a bit of problem seeing it, burnt to the ground, just like they did the house in Cleveland, Ohio, where that Castro guy held those 3 girls, and they finally broke free. They tore that old place down. That's just horrible. And I I don't believe, future college students would want to see that. I think they'd much rather see them memorialized in a beautiful way there on that property. So, also, uh, I wanted to talk a little bit about Chad Daybell. There's some things going on in the Chad Daybell case. Lori's trial is over. She was convicted, and for the murder of Tylee, JJ, and Tammy. She still faces charges, however, in the death of her ex-husband, Charles Vallows, in Arizona. Well, now that Lori's, big trial is over and she's convicted, now it's Chad's turn to go to trial. And they are still seeking the death penalty against Chad Daybell. They had to take the death penalty. And I want people to understand this. Listen to me very carefully. They had to take the death penalty off the table with Lori Vallows Daybell because she did not waive her right to a speedy trial. And therefore, they had to hurry up and get her tried. And her defense could not, were complaining that they didn't have time to, because the death penalty is a whole nother event than just a regular first degree life sentence murder trial. It's just a whole lot more involved, and the defendants get more rights, and they have the opportunity to get, experts and, at least 2 or 3 lawyers and stuff involved and whatnot. I recall that well from the West Memphis 3 case. So, but they're asking that the death penalty with Chad be taken off the table now. And here's why. Chad did waive his right to a speedy trial. So, they have all the time in the world to try him now. But they're wanting the death penalty taken off the table because Lori didn't get the death penalty. But the only reason why Lori did not get the death penalty is because of this, because she did not waive her right to a speedy trial, and there was not enough time to prepare a proper defense against a death penalty in a death penalty case. So the prosecution just finally agreed, we'll take death penalty off the table. Let's go to trial. Let's get this over with. But with Chad, it's a different story. And, Chad and them their defense now is that rather than Chad and his prophecies manipulating Lori and her brother Alex and everybody, now he's claiming she was the main antagonist and she was the main manipulator. And it's a money racket for sure. They're claiming she was the main antagonist and the main manipulator in all these murders that happened. Murders of the children, her Charles, Tammy, everything. And so he was going along with her, which I feel that they are both culpable. They're both manipulators. And because, I have no reason to doubt that when Lori came to know Chad and everything, she was just smitten with him, and she was just smitten by every word out of his mouth, and everything out of his mouth was just the gospel truth. And she just believed in everything he was saying. And she was just, completely, engulfed in Chad Daybell and his prophecies and his, speeching and preaching and whatever in the heck was going on. But do I think she probably used her sexuality to some extent to do some manipulating with him and probably make him do things that he might not have ordinarily done? Probably so. We saw that with another very popular Mormon religion scandal trial, and that was with Jodi Arias and Travis Alexander. Travis was no saint, but and there were things that I feel like he did wrong toward the way he kind of treated Jodi and using her and things like that. Yeah, I can see that clearly. I've been in those relationships where I was used by a guy, so I recognize that easily on Travis's part. But Jodi, she took it to another level, and she became completely obsessed with him, and as if I can't have you, no one will. So but irregardless, I feel that they're both all culpable. I get it, brainwashing and making people believe stuff, but at the end of the day, you have to be held responsible for your own actions. I mean, oh, I was drunk, or I was high on drugs, or I was manipulated by, that while that can be somewhat of a crutch, and I feel, for you about it, at the end of the day, don't tell me there's anything about killing two children to save them, or some crazy shit, whatever they were doing, that you thought there was anything right or godly, or that God would approve, or Jesus would approve, or whoever they Mormon people worship. I don't know. I don't quite get it, but what I do know is that Chad Daybell, he took things to another level and tried to convince people that he was some type of a prophet and whatnot, and had been through these uh, near-death experiences, and which I've been through a near-death experience, and have been through a spiritual awakening as well, and had some weird things happen. And there's things that I could tell you that you probably wouldn't believe, because you haven't experienced it yourself. But I am by no means am here to try to tell you I'm some kind of prophet, or I'm going to lead you to the promised land, because that ain't happening. I'm not going to lead you to the promised land. Chad Daybell sure ain't going to lead you to the promised land. He's going to lead you straight to prison. But, irregardless, those two got themselves into this mess, and they killed a lot of people and hurt a lot of people. I mean, you think about it, they killed two innocent children, an innocent husband, an innocent wife, and I still think they ended up killing Alex in the end. I don't think Alex died of natural causes. I really don't. I think somehow Alex was murdered too, even though he's the one that we believe did most of the dirty work in all this mess. So, but at the end of the day, I just can't. I can't have sympathy for anybody that don't comprehend and understand that it is against the law, no matter what state you're in, country you're in, city you're in, island you're on, or in the middle of the ocean. It is against the law to take another person's life. So, I don't know what anybody does not comprehend or understand about that. But whatever. So that's what's going on with Chad Daybell, and they've gone through Lori's transcripts and tried to point out and pick out things from her trial transcripts show that kind of tend to show that she was more of the antagonist in all of this, and that she was the most culpable in conspiring and putting this all into motion, all these killings into motion, more or less. So anyway, that's what's going on in that case. Now I want to switch over to another case that I've been covering here on my channel, a case that I've been following since it happened in the 90s, and that is the murder of Tupac Amaru Shakur, and the murder of Christopher Biggie Wallace as well. But this is about Tupac right now. As you all know, one of the people that was in the white Cadillac that assassinated Tupac Shakur that night in Las Vegas after the Mike Tyson Bruce Seldon fight has been charged with his murder. Dwayne Davis, Keefe D, has been charged. He is set to go to trial June 20th, 2024. We'll see. June is, several months away. We've got to get through the holidays and the new year and all that. And Lord knows what's going to happen between now and then. But yeah, he's set to go to trial uh, June 20th, 2024. But yesterday I was watching the Gene Deal show. And if you don't know who Gene Deal is, Gene Deal was the bodyguard uh, for Bad Boy Records, Puffy and Biggie. He was their bodyguard. And I follow Gene. I watch his podcast and all that. And I've been listening uh, to every single person that ever had any kind of connection to Biggie, to Tupac, to Puffy, to Suge, to Eazy-E, NWA, Dr. Dre, Ruthless Records, anybody and everybody that has been interviewed that ever even knew those guys. I have listened to every single interview because DJ Vlad has pretty much interviewed every Tom, Dick, and Harry from Ruthless Records, Bad Boy Records, and Death Row Records that ever had any kind of attachment to the three record companies. And, but anyway, I was watching Gene Deal yesterday and I made the comment, Keefe D has nobody to blame but himself. And Gene saw my comment and he, popped it up on the screen and everything. And he said, okay, let me tell you something, Ruby, Pearl, Glamper, and all this. The police, do you understand what I'm saying? The police put this out, before. And anyway, how the police, he was talking about how it was wrong. Basically, it was wrong how the police, Greg Kading and them, got Keefe to confess to all this stuff back several years ago before they did the murder rap documentary, because Greg Kading was investigating Biggie Wallace's murder. Valletta Wallace had filed, Valletta and Faith Evans had filed a multi-million-dollar lawsuit against the LAPD, saying that LAPD was involved in Biggie's murder. So that's how Greg Kading came to get involved in all this. He was put on Biggie's murder and put to investigate Biggie's murder. Well, in the process of investigating Biggie's murder, you of course have to investigate Tupac's murder. They've always been connected. And so they get Keefe D in this predicament where they can charge him with a shitload of stuff involving drugs and whatnot to send him to prison for the rest of his life anyway. Well, they use it to manipulate him into telling them every single thing he knew regarding Biggie's murder, Tupac's murder, and anybody else's murder that he had information about. And he did. He confessed and told everything that happened and that he knew and whatnot. Well, Greg Kading in the process of all this, Greg Kading and them determined, okay, we've solved the Tupac murder. We know that Keefe D, Orlando Anderson, Big Dre Smith, and Terrence Brown were in this car. They shot Suge and them's BMW, blah, 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 blah. Okay, that was nice. Loud gunshot. Never know out here in the backwoods of Arkansas. It's coming on deer season. Hi, Radio. I've missed you too. It's good to see you. So anyway, I get it. I've watched murder rap. But however, so Gene's making a big deal about my comment, and saying this and all that. So here is my message to Gene Deal. Gene, I love you. I really do. I've always listened to you. I've always took you at your word. I've always listened to you and felt like you were honest and always and told the truth. Jane, you and little Cease, I have never doubted a word that you two have said regarding Biggie Smalls and or Tupac for that matter. I've never doubted those guys. Those are the two guys that I feel like have been the most honest. Now, can I say I trust a word out of Puffy's mouth? Hell no, I don't trust a word out of Puffy's mouth. No more than I trust a word out of Suge Knight or Reggie Wright's mouth. Do I trust Frank Alexander? Yes. Do I trust Michael Moore? Yes. Do I trust Reggie Wright or Suge Knight? Hell to the no. But Gene, let me explain. Just because they put this murder rap video out and pretty much put it out there to the general public, what we pretty much all already knew, some of us just didn't want to believe it. Some of us wanted to believe there was more to it. Some people want to still believe Tupac is alive, that kind of thing. But the truth is that, we've always pretty much suspected that it was Orlando Anderson and them in the white Cadillac. And we've known, about all of this since the very beginning. So, but just because a documentary is made and your secret confession or whatever is basically leaked to the public, told to the public in this documentary, that's one thing. You still gonna have to take, but they gave Keefe a proper agreement on all this at the time, saying that we will not prosecute you for anything you say or tell us in this room. We'll not prosecute you for none of it. Well, after Murder Rap was released, the documentary, the book, and everything, did we see anybody get arrested? No. Did we see Keefe D get arrested? No. What, several more years have passed since then. And Keefe D has since done the DJ Vlad interview, as well as many other interviews. The Art of the Dialogue, Bomb First, who's all wrapped up in Reggie Wright right now, which if Reggie Wright told me the sky was blue, I'd go outside and look. I'm just saying. I get it. But when Keefe D took it upon himself to go out here and confess to the public that he did all this, yes, I did this. Everything Greg Caden and them said I did it. Yes, I did it. And I gave the gun and I did this and we did that and blah, blah. I did it. Oh, fucking well. He admitted to all of it. So in my eyes, that's, he's saying it himself. It's not just Greg Caden and then putting the word out. So no, Keefe D has no one to blame but himself. He's gone on every freaking talk show on YouTube bragging about it, plus wrote a book about it. I kind of get it, and I hate to bring this up. I hate to bring the race issue up, but you know what? I don't trust the police no more than black people do. I don't. That same drug ring that funded Death Row Records killed my friends in 1987. How about them apples? Do you think I trust the fucking police any more than you do? Or the black community does? Do you not know that I know how dirty these son of a bitches out here are? And I don't trust law enforcement at all, no more than black people do. I would just like to let you know that. But at the end of the day, I am a law-abiding citizen for the most part. I've not killed anybody, of course. You know, have I driven drunk or sped or ran a red light or what? Yeah, I have. But I've never killed anybody. So I've never, had any documentaries made about me that, I've confessed to any murders, and I've not gone on any talk shows and podcasts and stuff claiming I killed the biggest rapper in the world. So, no, I'm sorry. Keefe D has nobody to blame but himself. And now he wants to blame Puffy. He wants to say, this is all for Puffy, and he was going to pay $1 million for this hit. No bullshit. Keefe D has clearly stated out of his own mouth, because they beat up his nephew, Orlando Anderson, they were going to get him anyway. And that it was Von Zip who talked to Keefe D that night after when this happened, and said, hey, they just beat up your uncle or beat up your nephew. Here's your chance to get this $1 million hit. Get this $1 million that Puffy's put out. So he was going to shoot Tupac and Suge regardless. So, stop blaming Puffy. And if they arrest Puffy and they find evidence that he actually did end up paying money that Keefe D obviously never got, allegedly Zip kept all the money, kept the $1 million. That's the rumor. I don't know. If you can prove that, then by all means, go right ahead and do it. But regardless, you are responsible for the death of Tupac Shakur. So take your punishment and live with it. That's all I got to say. It's, it's just absurd. But, he has nobody to blame but himself. And that's just the way I feel about it. And I don't, you got Suge Knight saying, I'm not fixing to tell who shot Tupac if I did know or I don't know. So, I'm sorry. I'm a loyal friend. I'm a very loyal friend. I'll take your secrets to the grave, but I'm not going to stand by and be involved in knowing and helping cover up a murder. I just can't do it. That's just, But anyway, that's my message to Gene Deal. Otherwise, I love you to death, dude, but that's just the way it is. He has nobody to blame but himself. Oh, goodness. So, well, I wanted to mention, since I've been away these last several weeks, I've been listening to some audiobooks. I am a reader. I love to read, and I have a huge book collection of a lot of true crime books on a lot of different true crime cases. And I have a lot of memoirs of people over the years that I've admired. And, but my eyesight is terrible, and I'm hopefully getting some new glasses in December. But, I had wanted to read Paris Hilton's new memoir and Britney Spears' new memoir and Prince Harry's new memoir. And I lucked into finding those memoirs on audiobook. And let me tell you, audiobook is a completely different experience than reading a book. especially when it's the person who wrote the book narrating, doing reading the audio book. The Prince Harry's book and Britney Spears' book were not narrated by them. However, Paris Hilton's was. And if y'all have not read these three books or listened to these three books on audiobook, I very much recommend that you do. I've always liked Paris Hilton. I've always liked Britney Spears. And I like Prince Harry. Prince Harry gets a lot of flack for leaving the royal family and being married to Meghan Markle, and people think that she's a manipulator, and people think that her and Harry have kind of taken the things that have happened within the royal family and them to the extreme, and maybe kind of lied a little bit or made a bigger deal out of something than what it really was and whatnot. But I don't feel that they have. I believe Prince Harry and his stories. I believe Meghan and her stories. I don't really know too much about Meghan Markle to say whether I like her or don't like her. She seems okay to me. But as far as Prince Harry telling these stories, I can only imagine. And I find it sad that the royal family has drifted apart, and that it had to come to this. Him and Meghan stepping away and leaving and everything. But I can only imagine how devastated Princess Diana would be, and but I feel for Prince Harry, and what he's been through. I can only imagine. But lots of bombshells in the Britney Spears book. Of course, we find out that she was actually pregnant with Justin Timberlake's baby, and he asked her to have an abortion. And trigger warning for anybody that word bothers. And the video for the song Every Time was about that. And it absolutely breaks my heart, because I watched all this shit being done to Britney Spears over the years. I watched how the media tore her down and just ripped her apart. And I can remember one day I was on YouTube watching a video of her, and she was somewhere, not on a vacation, I don't think. She was just on an outing somewhere at a park or somewhere, and she was trying to take photos, and the paparazzi is just made a complete circle around her, and they're just photographing her, and she's trying to take pictures of the scenery and stuff, and she's like, would y'all please leave me the hell alone? I not enjoy some freedom, privacy, and enjoy what I'm here to do. And and I said right then and there, I was like, damn, I could never live my life like that. I could never be famous. um it would be wonderful to dress up in fancy gowns and walk the red carpet and have my picture made, and or put on a concert in front of millions of adoring fans and everything. But at the end of the day, I want to go home. Leave me the fuck alone. I mean, if I had fans, I would, love my fans or whatever, and whatnot. But this hounding people literally to death, I just don't approve of. And I there's only so far I will go. And but Paris Hilton's audiobook is narrated by Paris Hilton. So you hear Paris telling her story, and it's a completely different experience than if you were just physically reading the book. Hearing her tell you her story was absolutely heartbreaking. And when those people came in the middle of the night to take her away to those schools that her parents put her in, I don't know if y'all are aware of everything that Paris Hilton has been through, but her parents, when she was a teenager, put her in a bunch of uh, schools and stuff for basically bad kids or kids that didn't mind or whatnot, that wild childs. And she went through some very terrifying, horrifying ordeals. And every school that she was sent to that she tried to escape from, listening to her talk about, to tell these stories, you're there with her. You're there in the moment with her when she is escaping and she is running away and she's going to she finds a payphone and calls her Aunt Kyle, and and it is just absolutely heartbreaking what she went through. And I'm so glad to know now what she was going through during all that. I was a big fan of The Simple Life. Absolutely loved her and Nicole Richie and The Simple Life. They filmed here in Arkansas, and it was just so funny. But now I understand so much more about Paris Hilton that I didn't understand throughout all of those years. I understand a whole lot more about Britney Spears as well as Prince Harry. And so um, you can find those audiobooks here on YouTube and listen to them. So if you think that's something that you would enjoy doing, please do that. Just search for those audiobooks. They're here. I forgot the name of the actual channel that they're on, but if you just search Britney Spears audiobook or Paris Hilton or Prince Harry, they'll come right up. So um yeah, I've done some research. Yeah, you cannot even, I would shudder to know the countless hours of sleep that I've lost over the years, waking up at 2, 3, 4 in the morning, or can't sleep, can't go to sleep at all. And, just doing so much deep dive investigating into so many cases. I would probably die of shock if I were able to calculate all those hours that I've spent, um, researching and doing deep diving into so many cases. Um, Something else that I wanted to talk about is Little Summer, and my I can't take this anymore. My heart breaks every day for that little girl. And it was so sad. The other night, my friend and I were outside here on the property and working and doing some things and whatnot. And my little Chihuahua Min Pin that you see at the end of my show, Ellie Mae, her name's Ellie Mae. She she's a little adventurer, and she's stubborn and whatnot. And she has 7 acres out here to roam around on, and she'll go off on her little adventures, and you'll call her and call her and call her, and she won't come. She just flat ignores you. And anyway, she did that the other night, and it was getting dark. So I was out here, calling her and looking for her and everything, and went out and was walking up and down the road and everything to see if, she had ventured across to the farm, across the way, or, looking for her. And my cats that I have, Gabby and Rosie and Summer, um, were literally walking out in the street with me, helping me look for Ellie. And little Summer was walking along the side of the road, and she was meowing, and she still has a kitten sounding meow. It's very high pitched, and it was just heartbreaking. She was meowing in her little voice and calling for Ellie, and helping me trying to find Ellie. And I just thought, here she is, my cat Summer is out here helping me trying to find my dog, and the real Summer is out here lost somewhere, needing to be found. And it was just so heartbreaking. And then I was on channel with Griff, um and he was talking about some crap that these YouTubers out here that have done. And anyway, and it just infuriated me. And and I've just had enough of seeing. By the way, we found Ellie. Ellie came back. So she was hiding. She didn't want to come home. She was on an adventure, but she came home when she got ready to. But so yeah, Ellie did come back. Everybody's all right. Everybody's home, you know. But and it just infuriated me. And I see day after day after day after day people using Summer Wells' name to make a living. Every single day they are on YouTube to talk about the Summer Wells case, making money off that child and making money off that child's name, humiliating her parents over and over and over and over again to make money. And yet here we are 2.5 years later, this child still hasn't been found, and we don't know any more about her disappearance than we did the day she went missing. All we know is that Summer Wells is missing. Her parents are pieces of shit, and that's it. We don't know what happened to her. And it just sickens me to watch this fiasco day after day after day about this poor little girl that everyone is just using to make money off of. And she's out there and she's lost. And I went to bed the other night and I woke up. It was Thursday night, I guess. I woke up in the middle of the night, sometime Friday morning, and having an awful dream. And in this dream, little Summer is sitting there with me with her sweet little face, and she's just so sad. And I am trying to tell people that Summer is being abused. Not any specific type of abuse, but abused and neglected. And in this dream, I was trying to tell all these people, this child is being abused. She's being neglected. We've got to help her. We've got to do something for her. And no one was listening. No one was hearing me. They were just ignoring me. And poor little Summer's just sitting there looking up at me, trying to tell people what has happened to her, and no one is listening. And it was just absolutely heartbreaking for me. So I finally took a step to do something that I felt like would help Summer. Um, yeah, the Wells are making money too. People are making money off of humiliating them, and they're making money off humiliating themselves. It's absolutely sickening, Jane. It's sickening. And I've had a lot on my mind for a long time, and I know people. I may not talk to these people or haven't talked to them in a long time or whatnot, but I do know, I do have friends in low places. Isn't that what Garth Brooks, friends in low places? Yeah. And, I've had enough of this. I can't stand this anymore. And I made a phone call to an ally that has been involved with law enforcement for a long, long time, and said, what can I do? What can be done to help this child? The TBI, Hawkins County, they've come up with nothing. They've done nothing. Her parents are out here. They're fucking nuts. And, YouTubers have made this little girl's case into a complete fiasco. And I'm sick and tired of it. I'm sick and tired of people lining their pockets with thousands and thousands of dollars off that little girl's name. And yet she is out here somewhere lost in this world. And I cannot take it no more. What can I do? What can I do to get some kind of outside sources involved? What can I say to somebody? What can I do to get Ronnie Lawson, Scott Pruitt, Hawkins County, the TBI to open up to the possibility of help from outside resources, that I believe could help Summer. But unfortunately, the TBI and Ronnie Lawson and Hawkins County have jurisdiction of this case. And in order to get any kind of outside sources, whatever those sources may be, I'm not talking about any kind of specific source. I don't care who it takes. I don't care. You can call the CIA, you can call the president, you can call Donald Trump, you can call the governor of Tennessee, or the Air Force. I don't care who it takes, but get somebody else involved in this case that can get the ball rolling and get something done for this child, get this child found, get the people who did whatever they did to her in jail, prosecuted, get this child some justice, and bring this case some closure. I don't want to see this turn into another Morgan Nick case, as what happened here in Arkansas. And they told me that it has to, outside help has to be requested from the TBI and Hawkins County. No matter what that outside source may be, whether it's some kind of little, like whether it's the FBI or the CIA, the president, or Joe Blow's detective agency, getting involved. The request has to come from them. There's just nothing that I can do beyond, I guess, taking Ronnie Lawson hostage, to force their hand to do anything. That's what I want. I want to force somebody's hand, whether it be TBI or Hawkins County or both, to say, look, do you think you could try doing this or calling these people or getting this person involved or doing this or doing that to get something done because I'm just sick and tired of what has happened to this child and what is going on, and seeing people line their pockets off this innocent little girl. I'm sick to death of it. And I hope every one of you here on YouTube, and you know who you are, who have sat day after day after day after day for 2 fucking years making a living off of Little Summer Moon Utah Wells, an innocent child who's done nothing to no one. She is lost. She is out there somewhere. Find that child. She needs fucking justice. I'm sick of it. I hope you all fucking burn in hell. Don B, you fucking burn in hell. Jonathan Lee Riches, burn in hell. All of you, burn in fucking hell for what you've done. Making a goddamn living off a baby. An innocent child. Missing, lost, out there, dead or alive, being fucking abused. You people are evil. Sick fucking evil. And I hate every fucking goddamn one of you. You're sick. You're beneath me. You are the scum, evil that the devil sent to this goddamn earth. You're disgusting. Completely fucking disgusting. Stop it. Stop it. Would you want someone to do that to your child? No, you probably wouldn't. So don't stop doing it to this child. I'm sick of it. I'm going to tell you what, if I found Summer Wells right now, I would never, ever turn that child over. And I would never, ever let her know what people have done to that poor innocent baby. It is absolutely fucking disgusting. I hope she never has to know what's been done to her. Off of her little name, off of her disappearance. And God only knows how she disappeared or why she disappeared. What happened to her? What was done to her? To which now I'll go ahead and move into what happened to me on Friday by some fucking YouTubers. I am prescribed medical marijuana. Okay? And yeah, I'm going to be smoking some when I get off here too. To calm down. Like I said, I'm at the end of my fucking rope. I've had it. And I am ready to say something. And I don't care who gets hurt by it. I don't. I don't care who gets hurt by it. When I went to college for journalism, I was taught how to write a proper paper. I was taught proper journalism etiquette. I was taught how to write a proper obituary, eulogy, how to properly interview someone, things like that. I got an A+ on every damn paper, all 3 years of journalism. But this crap of I'm a YouTuber and I am standing on a public street corner so I can film you doing whatever the hell I want to do. You know, I've gone along with some of it. You know, the Gabby Petito case and, you know, people out front of the laundries, I feel that was called for. You know, this was a missing person and the laundries knew what happened to Gabby. So no, I wasn't against anyone out there And it wasn't just YouTubers that were out there. There was every news media across the country was out in front of the laundry house. Do I think that the Leilani Simon case called for it? Let's just say Sheriff Hadley brought that shit on himself. If you didn't think that people were going to be outraged, that, yeah, we know this mother murdered her baby, but we've got to find him first before we arrest her. You didn't think that was going to piss anybody off? You brought that shit on yourself, Hadley. But I've done nothing wrong. I've done nothing wrong. And I get it. Out here in public, you've got all these stores, businesses, hospitals, doctors' offices. It's sitting at the red light. It don't matter. Everywhere you go, there is a camera filming you. And I understand that. You know, you have security issues, you have theft issues and whatnot. I get that. But okay, I'm prescribed medical marijuana. And I've never made a secret about that. I don't have anything to be ashamed of. It is prescribed by my doctor. If you had any idea of what's going on, especially here in Arkansas, amongst many other states, is that we have an all-time high of opioid addicts and stuff. And unfortunately, people who live with chronic pain as I do, that I'm not going to wake up tomorrow or next week or next year and be healed and be fine. I'm going to be in chronic pain for the rest of my life, to the day I die. I have arthritis. I have fibromyalgia. I have direct injuries that didn't heal properly, that have, broken down and whatnot over the years. I'm going to be in pain for the rest of my life. So whatever my doctor prescribes to give to me is my business. Now, here in Arkansas, it is only medical marijuana. It's not recreational. I'm not going to the pot shop because I'm a pothead. Okay? This is prescribed to me. And it is better for me than opioids or narcotics and stuff, even though I do have to take those as well. So I go, after I leave the Cancer Institute, I go by the medical marijuana shop, and there's some jackasses out there on the street corner filming. And I'm like, how are they out here filming? I thought this was illegal. This is a privately owned place. It is patients who have been prescribed. You can't even go in there unless you have a medical marijuana card. If I were to take one of you with me, you would have to sit out in the car in the parking lot and wait for me. You could not go in there with me. However, this is a privately owned business. It's, of course, sanctioned, by the state, and they have all these state and rules and stuff they have to go by and whatnot. So yeah. And I'm like, what are these jackasses out here filming for? I thought it was illegal to do that because of, the situation. He said, for that specific reason, because they're jackasses. And so anyway, there were other people walking in as I was that were upset about it. So I did end up calling the police. The police, of course, told me there was nothing they could do about it. And I'm like, how is this not a violation of my HIPAA laws? This is not a public store. This is not fucking Walmart, where I'm in public and you can film me walking around in the parking lot, and you can snap a photo of my tag number and video my tag number, and all this. I mean, we have no right to privacy whatsoever, people can just do whatever they want to with us anymore. And they do it day after day after day. You know, people are being doxxed all over the internet just because you can go to free people search and look somebody up and find their addresses and stuff. You know, it just doesn't give you the right to go put that shit out all over the internet. You know, and as if, oh, Don Wells lives at this address and y'all go to it, and Amy lives at this address, and Griff lives at this address, and Bullhorn Betty lives at this address, and blah, 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 blah. You know, y'all go harass them and shit, you know. So I came home and I'm like, I was bound and determined to try to find this guy, these two guys that were filming. And I found, I did find someone, but it was a video from 2 years ago, and which was the same problem. And I got a funny feeling that it's probably the same people that were doing this filming the other day. And I found it kind of ironic because, you know, the owner is asking, you know, what are you guys doing out here? Why are you doing this? Why are you filming my patients? They have HIPAA laws and privacy laws and blah, 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 blah. You're out here filming them and filming their tag numbers and stuff, because people had complained on that day too, when this video that I found was made. And I'm doing a story, and I found it ironic. I don't know if he actually meant to say I am an investigative journalist, but what he said was, I am an instigative journalist, and I'm doing a story. But yet his whole video is of him standing there arguing with the owner about privacy laws and how he can just stand, and I'm standing on a public street and I can film this place if I want to, and there ain't a damn thing you can do about it. They don't call the law. They'll tell you the same thing. We have taken the First Amendment and literally blown it way out of proportion. And, you know, I have the right to do this. I have the right to do this. I can do this. I can do that. There ain't a damn thing you can do about it. Okay, fine, whatever. But were any of y'all raised with proper etiquette? Were any of y'all raised with morals or anything like that? Do you not have any fucking respect for anybody whatsoever? You know, people have just lost their damn minds, and everybody, it seems like everybody out here is like, I'm pissed off at the world. The world fucking owes me something. I'm miserable, and by God, I'm gonna make every single one of you miserable right along with me. That is the mentality of the world now. People have gone mad. It's like full-on jungle madness, the way people are acting now. But it talks about all that in Revelations, you know, and what people will be like. And, you know, I have a book that I found years ago when I went through my spiritual awakening after my near-death experience. I found a book in a used bookstore, and it was called I've got it up here in my, oh, here it is. I've got it up here in my, on my shelf. It's called Amazing Prophecies of the Bible. And this book was actually written before 9/11. And it predicted 9/11. This book predicted 9/11. And it also predicted that the world would be completely dependent on this big, huge machine-like thing. So I believed that he was talking about the internet, the computer. And, that the world would be literally completely dependent and on it. But it's a wonderful book. You may be able to find it online, or at on a used book store. I buy a lot of books from thrift books, thriftbooks.com. I bought a lot of books from them, but it's called Amazing Prophecies of the Bible. And it's an amazing book. But anyway, I like I said, I had never made a secret that I smoke medical marijuana, that I'm prescribed medical marijuana. I talk about my health issues all the time, and chronic pain and whatnot, but that is my place to tell people. It's not your place to come and film me at a private facility like that and put I have a very distinctive car. Okay. There ain't nobody else that has a car that looks like mine. Okay. Very, very distinctive car. Plus, my tag number just being, put out there to every Tom, Dick, and Harry, and whatnot to do, I've been down that road, except it was with a cop and I ended up dating him. Yeah. He, he actually decided to run my tag number before he ever even asked me what my name was. He already knew what my name was. It kind of bothered me a little bit, but I really liked that guy. So, but I just don't, approve of this stuff and going out here and just going out here with the purpose of heckling people and the purpose of just because I can, just because I can do it. And, this thing that how we can get it here on YouTube, and let's say I can, Lady O or Justice Jane, I can make up all these stories about y'all and make a video about it and tell everybody, oh yeah, Justice Jane is this and Lady O is that, and then she's done this and all these crazy, and make up crazy stories, and there not be any consequences for making shit up or lies or putting people's personal information just out here for all these wild people out here in YouTube land to, laugh at and things like that. I was reading comments underneath the video that I did find from 2 years ago, and people, I think it's so hilarious to see people act like fools, and how was the owner acting like a fool by telling that dude, you're nothing but a fucking punk and you're the only reason why you're here is to harass people, and just be an asshole. You're not doing a story. You're not a journalist. So all these people out here calling themselves journalists, true crime investigators, YouTube content creators, calling themselves media and all that kind of crap. I don't care if you got a real media badge. I don't care if you got a fake media badge. Hey, you know what? I've got a fake media badge too that I printed off the internet, but I've never had to use it because I unfortunately have respect for people, and I will ask you, may I interview you? May I take your picture? May I film you? Go back and watch my video from SpaCon. I asked everyone in that whole video if I could record them, that I was on YouTube Live sharing SpaCon with my followers? Do you mind if you're on video and audio? Like I said, this just whole crap of just infiltrating people's lives and doing the shit that they're doing, and I just can't go along with it anymore. And what I sit and watch being done to little Summer Wells day after day after day, I just can't stand it anymore. And how people have just turned her case into a full-on mockery. I don't know what that Josh fucking moron is trying to prove, or any of them for that matter. I don't watch any of them. I don't listen to any of them. I only catch up on a lot of the drama, specifically if I, whether it's through Griff or I just see it, come through my feed or whatever. But, there's I've got to the point I just don't watch anybody anymore, and I just don't want anything to do with anybody anymore, except for the people that have shown me, that they are my friend, or they're my loyal, follower here on my channel. Handful of faithful followers I do have, but I just don't want, I ain't cut from the same cloth as some of you people. I wasn't raised like that. And the next worst thing to a sin against God is a sin against the people that raised me better than to drop myself down to the low scum between my toes that people here on YouTube have resorted to. I just don't think I can't get low down and nasty, because I can't. I damn sure can. And I'll hurt your fucking feelings in a heartbeat. But I don't want to. I don't have time for it. I don't have the patience for it. It's useless to me. I got into a bunch of mess years ago on Facebook with some people, and I just don't understand people. Everybody's in it for themselves, and people want to, pretend to be someone's friend, and they flip-flop on them and whatnot, and air all their dirty laundry and this and that and the other, and, doxing each other and secretly recording phone calls and stuff. And that is not me. I mean, I've only showed somebody else's content on my channel one time, and I only played the audio of it. And that was an interview with Suge Knight. So, I just don't do that, and all these people that have, made all these drama channels, and every single day it's, let's hate on Molly Golightly today. Let's hate on Bullhorn Betty today. Let's hate on Dolly today. Let's hate on Laura or Molly or whoever, they choose to pick on, it's, let's hate on them today. Well, gone with your bad self, but I want absolutely no part of any of it. It just ain't me. So, is anybody still with me? After I apologize for losing it earlier, but I'm telling you, I'm at the end of my rope with the Summer Wells case, and I can't stand by no longer and not say something and not do something. And I like I said, I called this ally of mine and spoke with them about all this, trying to figure out something to do to kick open some doors, to get something done here and now for Summer. And it is in Ronnie Lawson's hands. It is in the TBI's hands. And I damn sure can't go up in their office and tell them what to do, or why don't you call this person, or get this agency involved or whatever. I can't go tell these people what to do. They're going to laugh me clean out of their eye. Thank you for stopping by. We'll take it into consideration. Have a good day. Don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you, you know. So, I just don't, I don't know what else to do, but I would certainly love to see something come out of my phone call, let's just say. And something could come out of that phone call. There's a possibility, but it's out of my hands now. I've did what I could, and I made a contact that I could, and it's out of my hands. So all we can do is just hope and pray and, pray that Summer is found one day and gets the justice that she deserves. Because I'm not going to be here in 25 years to talk about her case like I have been with Morgan Nick, Does anybody exactly, you wonder what you could do to help Summer. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if that Blipboard stuff is still going on. I did not get involved. I chose to not get involved with the Blipboard stuff. I was going to consider it because Benny Keys had spoken with me and Griff, very politely and very, very nice about it. And Benny spoke with Griff and I about the whole Blipboard stuff. But at the end of the day, I chose not to get involved because I felt like people were using that situation as well, just to get money in their own pockets and money and seeking attention and notoriety, so to speak. And actually, it wasn't so much Benny that was trying to get any kind of money or notoriety or anything out of it. That I felt there was actually other people that I did feel were using it to their advantage. But I honestly, believe it or not, did not get that feeling from Benny. So that was why I chose to, consider it. But at the end of the day, I didn't, because I never could figure out a way to go on there and donate any money toward the Blipboard or anything. So I just never did. I don't know if that's still going on or what. I just feel that Ronnie Lawson and TBI are going to have to shit or get off the pot, as we say here in the South. And if you can't do something and you can't solve this case, then open the door to let somebody else get involved, or whether it be other agencies or retired officers or detective agencies, or, like I said, the governor, the president, the CIA. I don't care. I just want that baby found. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of her being used the way she has been. And she is out here in this world somewhere lost, literally lost. Whether she's alive with someone else or whether her remains are out there somewhere, she is out in this world lost, and we have got to find her one way or another. It's that simple. And I don't care what it takes to get it done. I don't care if it involves beating the living shit out of Don and Candace till they fucking confess. I don't care if it means beating the shit out of every neighbor and every person in Hawkins County till somebody coughs up and tells us what happened to that child. I don't care anymore. I just want that baby found. Does anybody have, yeah, they need fresh eyes too. This is a cold case. I've known this was a cold case for a long time. I've said it a long time ago. This case is cold. This case is already cold. Been there, done that, been through this so many times. 30-something years of following missing kids and missing persons and murders and cases and stuff. You know? We've got Morgan Nick here in Arkansas we've still not ever found. We've got Mercedes Tolliver that we've never found. We've got I can see her face in my mind as plain as day, and my words are not coming to me. Young lady that went missing in 1995. Maybe it'll come to me here in a minute, but you know, just several people and so many unsolved murders and unsolved cases here, just here in Arkansas alone, you know, not to count all the ones in the rest of the other states and countries and everything else, you know. It's just, it's awful. But does anybody have any questions? Does anybody have anything they want to talk about? Does anybody want to come up on panel with me? I can drop the link, and if anybody would like to come up or whatnot, I'd love to chat. Yeah, it's just, it's frustrating, so frustrating, and I just want something done. I want that baby found, and I don't know what more to say or do about it. But if no one has any questions or anything that they, you know, want to talk about or whatever, I feel like I've pretty much talked about everything I wanted to talk about and everything. And I don't know when I'll be back on. Like I said, I really don't see a point in you know, coming on every single day and doing, you know, shows. I do still want to, you know, discuss these cases with people and have discussions and you know, keep things up to date and on these cases. And of course I'm, you know, going to be following through, especially on, you know, the Idaho 4 case. I'll be following through on the Tupac Shakur case. I'll be following through on Chad Daybell case, Summer Wells, should anything ever, you know, happen. And, you know, so many other cases. I wanted to let y'all know that the young lady that was kidnapped here in Arkansas, Trinity Case, I covered her abduction here on this channel, but her name is Trinity Case, and they did finally sentence the 2 people that abducted her over in Hot Springs, Arkansas. And you know, that was just a very, very sad situation. Luckily, you know, the people that abducted her turned her loose, and I unfortunately have to drive by that motel and where they held her captive, and the liquor store where she ran to literally half naked the following day when they turned her loose for help. I drive by them every day, and I see that, and it's just absolutely heartbreaking. But this was unfortunately, a good, a good thing that this young lady has a second chance. She was, found and recovered alive and does have a second chance with therapy and, emotional support from friends and family and whatnot. But yeah, they did sentence those two people the other day, here in Arkansas, to prison finally. So they're rotting away. I think the girl is supposed to get sent to Alabama, though. They're sending her to some facility in Alabama. I'm not sure why, but they are, and I, you know, I I feel that the young lady that was involved in Trinity's abduction, she was a victim of that old guy herself, and he she came off down here with him, uh, and he just got her into some awful shit. And, unfortunately, she's going to spend her young adult life in prison for it. So not only did, you know, he hurt Trinity, he hurt this young lady as well and got her involved in all this, crazy mess, and took her away, manipulated her away from her family, young girl, older guy. We've all been there. At least most of us have. I have. So, but anyway, I want to thank everybody for stopping by and coming in and listening to me. Oh, Lady O, I love you to death. I always enjoy seeing you and talking to you. Justice Jane, I'm so glad to see you. Haven't seen you, in quite some time, so it's good to have you. Phyllis Davis, who's always leaves me the sweetest comments. And everybody out there who just listened, who didn't participate or leave a comment in the chat or whatever. I understand whether it's just that you're shy or whether you're just over here eavesdropping or whatever. um, so be it. But thanks everybody for stopping by. And y'all, come on, please. I know that you people know the difference between good and bad, and you know the difference between good morals and bad morals, and you know what respect is, and you know what thank you and you're welcome and come back, have a nice day, hey, how are you, how are you doing, just be nice to people. Why is that so hard? you know because I'm here to tell you, I've been through more shit than I care to recall. More shit than anybody should ever have to endure. And I know I'm not the only person out here that has endured more shit than what they've deserved. But to turn around and use that to destroy somebody else, or to destroy other people, because you're miserable and unhappy and you think the world owes you something, and you don't care what you have to do to make a buck off of somebody else's tragedy or whatever. I'm like, I my mother would be rolling in her grave. My grandmother would be rolling in her grave. My papa would be, Sonny, Jim, Anna, they would be rolling in their graves if I stooped down to the level of you people. And for me to commit a sin against the way I was raised, people that raised me, that in my eyes is just as bad as sinning against, God's laws and stuff. So, and that's just something I don't want to do. So, but everyone, please have a wonderful evening. And like I said, when you go out in this world, Do unto others as you would want them to do unto you. Be the change that you wish to see in this world. As Michael Jackson said, it starts with the man in the mirror. Peace out, everybody. Have a wonderful night.
What's happening, y'all? If you're looking for a sad true crime podcast, then get up off of that thing and boogie on over to the Ruby Pearl Glamper True Crime Podcast, where we give you the lowdown on all things true crime. Oh, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell. Catch you on the flip side.